Welcome to Richtick Trades, where researched strategies and smart ideas help you grow richer, step by step. If building wealth is your goal, you're in the right place. Kindly subscribe. Mindset of the 1%, those rare individuals who don't just dream of success, they live it every single day. The mindset that turns ordinary people into extraordinary achievers. The 1% think, act, and see the world in ways most never imagine. They don't rely on luck or fate, they make their own. Their mindset is a blend of relentless focus, unwavering belief, and a hunger for growth that never quits. But here's the powerful truth, this mindset isn't locked behind an elite door. It's not a secret club you're born into. The 99%, that's you and me, can choose to step into this mindset. We can shed limiting beliefs, break old habits, and build new mental habits that align with success and abundance. So, let's dive in. Let's explore what makes the 1% different, and how you can start adopting their mindset today, transforming your thinking, your actions, and ultimately your life. Are you ready? Because the path from the 99% to the 1% begins with a single step, the decision to change. They say the 1% think differently. No, they live differently. It's not just about wealth, it's a way of being. A fire burning deep inside that refuses to be extinguished. Where most see limits, they see possibilities. Where others surrender to fear, they rise with relentless courage. This mindset isn't born overnight, it's forged in the crucible of trials, failures, and unwavering vision. The 1% don't gamble on luck. They create their own fortune, meticulously building empires with sweat, strategy, and sacrifice. Their minds are sharpened like blades, cutting through doubt, distraction, and delay. They wake up with purpose so fierce it shakes the foundations of complacency. Every decision, every action, every breath is a brick laid in the fortress of their future. But here's the twist, their secret weapon is not just grit. It's the power to think long. To play the marathon while others sprint and falter. To see beyond instant gratification and plant seeds that bloom into empires. They speak a language of abundance, not scarcity. They surround themselves with greatness, knowing that iron sharpens iron. And when the world whispers, "You can't," they roar, "Watch me." This isn't arrogance. It's unshakable belief, the kind that moves mountains and rewrites destinies. Because the 1% understand this truth deeply. Wealth is a mindset first, then a reality. They don't chase dreams, they hunt them down, with hunger, heart, and a vision so vivid it pulls the future into the present. Are you ready to step into that mindset? To rise with the fire, to build with the grit, to think beyond limits? Because that's where empires are born. That's where legends begin. That's the 1% mindset. They say you're the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with, but the truth runs far deeper, because we don't just live around people, we absorb them and their habits, begin to form the rhythm of our days, while their fears start to whisper in our minds and their dreams or the absence of them, quietly settle into our bones, and without even realizing it, we begin to shift our direction just a little slower, a little less hungry, a little more afraid to leap forward into the life we once imagined. When you sit too long with the lazy, your fire begins to flicker, and when you're surrounded by the fearful, suddenly every bold move feels like a step into danger, and, when you engage daily with those who complain and dwell in doubt, your vision once clear begins to fade and blur. But when you step into a space filled with builders, with believers, with those who breathe life into the impossible, something inside you stirs and rises, because your soul recognizes the energy, and your thoughts sharpen and your body aligns with the frequency of action and clarity and movement. Energy is not just contagious, it is transformational, and mindset spreads in silence and strength, and we don't only catch colds from those around us, we catch belief and ambition, and clarity, or we catch hesitation and excuses and hesitation. And now, in this world more connected than ever before, your circle is no longer limited by proximity, because you are being shaped, not just by friends or family, but by giants whose voices echo in your ears, through podcasts, and whose routines and quotes and lifestyles enter your mind and set silent standards that influence your next decision, your next move, your very sense of self. When a millionaire says to invest early, you suddenly pause before spending, and when a billionaire talks about reading 50 books a year, you begin to wonder if that might be the edge you're missing, and you begin to feel a quiet shift, as if greatness is knocking on your own door, because they own businesses and not just jobs, and they think in decades not days, and whether you admire them, envy them or reject them, their influence already lives within you, shaping your thoughts, guiding your choices, planting seeds of comparison or seeds of growth. So the real question is, not whether you are influenced, but whether that influence is lifting you or pulling you down, and you hold the power to decide, because you get to choose your circle, in both the digital and physical worlds, and you choose who fills your feed and your mind, and who stands beside you in motion toward dreams, and who sits beside you in silence, avoiding them. Choose the ones who speak about ideas and creation, not just gossip and drama. Choose the ones who rise with the sun, not for hustle or pressure, but for peace, clarity and alignment. Let the influence of those ahead not weigh you down with pressure, but call you forward into becoming, and let their greatness be your reminder, not of what you lack, but of what is possible for you. Because at the end of all of it, you do not simply become who you want to be. You become who you are around. That means everything from your mindset to your finances, from your energy to your future, is being sculpted right now, by the voices you allow into your mind and your home. Your soul and the next level of your life is not waiting out there in the distance, it is waiting behind the next decision, the next influence, the next person you choose to let shape your reality. So choose with fire, choose with love and vision and intention. Choose as though your entire life depends on it, because it does. I'm building this channel as a step-by-step guide to help you invest smarter, and this is just one piece of the puzzle. Please subscribe and like. In a world obsessed with speed, where everyone wants to win now, with flashy wins, fast cars and fancy watches, where every moment is snap it, post it, prove it, and the goal is to look rich, even if you're quietly drowning in debt, the uncomfortable truth is that quick wins build ego, while long games build empires. Because ego wants to look successful, but empire wants to be successful. Ego buys liabilities, while empire buys freedom. Ego screams, "Look at me now," while empire whispers, "You'll understand later." The truth is, the truly rich don't spend first, they don't flex first, they own first. They buy assets before appetites, and they invest before they impress. They wait while others waste, and while the world is busy chasing dopamine and distractions, they are quietly building dominance and legacy. So the real question you must ask yourself is, are you feeding your ego or your empire? Are you spending to look alive or investing to live free? Are you competing with broke minds or learning from wealthy ones? Are you swiping the card now or stacking ownership silently? The game is never about shining today. The real game is to never be broke again. Own first, spend later. It's not flashy. It's not viral. It doesn't sparkle on your feed or earn applause at dinner tables, but it's the quiet rule. The rule that builds unshakable legacies, while the world rushes to spend, to shine, to impress. You choose to hold steady eyes on the long road, heart rooted in vision. When the noise fades and the dust of trends settles, the crowd that once cheered goes silent. There will be one question that rises above the echoes. Did you build a fleeting moment that came and went like a spark in the dark, or did you build a kingdom that stands tall in storms, that carries your name in strength, that echoes through generations? And the truth, the deep aching truth, is that empires are not built in excitement. They are carved in patience and fueled by sacrifice. They are guarded by discipline. So choose not the rush. Choose the rain, not the applause. Choose the foundation, not the flash. And one day when the world looks your way in awe, you will know that your silence built something louder than their noise. Every time you reach into your wallet and let $1 slip away, you're not just buying a product, you're casting a silent vote. You're choosing between who you want to become and what you want to feel right now. You're either investing in your future self, the one with freedom, peace and power, or you're feeding a craving that disappears faster than it came. And not all spending is born equal. Some things you buy become ladders. They lift you. They multiply. They open doors even while you sleep. These are appreciating assets like real estate, that rises with time, or stocks, that grow quietly, or skills, that sharpen your value, or a side hustle, that blooms into independence, or intellectual property, that pays you forever. These aren't expenses. They're seeds planted in rich soil. They are wealth in the making, not just comfort in the moment. But then there's the other side, the trap masked as treasure, the dopamine disguised as progress, depreciating assets. They whisper feel good now, but steal from your future. These are the cars that lose value the second you drive them off. The designer clothes that fade with trends. The flashy gadgets, the overpriced decor. The things we buy to impress people, who aren't even watching. And yes, they sparkle, yes they feel good in your hand, but beneath that shine, they're bleeding your bank and binding your future. That $5,000 watch, it might gleam under the lights today, but in 5 years, it's a shadow of its price unless it's a rare exception. But that same money poured into your growth, into a course, a business, an idea, that holds fire, that money could multiply, explode, evolve, into something you never imagined, because one kind of spending buys you attention, but the other, it buys you options, and options are freedom, and freedom is everything. So, the next time you stand at the crossroads of a spending decision, ask yourself, is this pulling me forward or pinning me down? Is it a tool or a trophy? Is it building my tomorrow or just feeding my today? Because money doesn't just buy things, it buys time, it buys peace, it buys choices, and, if spent right, it can buy you your life back. You see it gleaming under the showroom lights, that brand new car, that designer bag, that luxury vacation, that promising escape and status. It all sparkles like freedom, but what you don't see hidden beneath that shine is the trap, waiting with open arms, because depreciating assets don't walk in alone. They come hand in hand with something far heavier and far more dangerous. They bring with them a quiet burden called liability. That's where the real cost begins. You buy that car not in full but on finance. Suddenly what looked like a prize becomes a monthly obligation, a silent bleeding from your account. A loan with interest, that creeps up when you're not looking, and with each payment, you're not just spending, you're shackling your future to the past. You're locking yourself into a cycle, where your money works against you, where your purchase is worth less every day, but still costs you more. This is the debt spiral, not a storm that hits at once, but a slow drowning in decisions made for the moment you spend for the now. You borrow to feel alive, and before you know it, your wallet is stretched. Your mind is anxious. Your nights are sleepless, and for what? A thing that's already losing its shine, a gadget that's outdated next year, a lifestyle upgrade that doesn't upgrade your peace. And this is not just financial sabotage, this is emotional erosion. It steals your energy. It eats your confidence. It crushes your options. It pretends to offer joy while feeding quiet regret. But on the other side, there are people who buy differently, who play the game for the long run. They put their money in assets that rise in value, that grow silently in the background, that pay them back tenfold. They buy real estate stocks, courses, side hustles, things that generate wealth, while others are still paying off purchases from last year. Their money buys them time, not tension. It buys freedom, not pressure. It creates peace, not performance. Because here's the truth, debt is not the enemy when it's used right. It becomes a ladder when you use it to grow, to build, to earn more. But use it on liabilities, on things that fade the moment they're yours, and it turns into a cage, a quiet suffocation that no one sees. Because on the outside you're smiling in your new outfit, but inside you know you're bleeding. Inside you feel the chain. That feeling, that quiet knowing that you were working hard, but standing still, that's the hidden cost no one posts about. So before you swipe the card, before you upgrade your life, before you chase that fleeting high, ask yourself, Is this building my freedom or borrowing from it? Is this something that grows or something that glows for a moment and disappears? Because at the end of the day, the wealthy don't run from debt. They master it. They use it to earn more, to live lighter, to build deeper, and that's the game. That matters. Not the flash, but the foundation. Not the applause today, but the options tomorrow. Buy freedom, not feelings. Choose assets over aesthetics. Own the long game, because the true cost of what you buy isn't the price tag, it's the life it creates after. They'll tell you obsession is dangerous, that it's too much, that it'll burn you out and break you down. They'll warn you not to go too far, not to want too hard, not to dream too big. But what they don't tell you is that obsession, the kind that keeps you up at night and wakes you with purpose in the morning, is the very thing that separates the dreamers from the doers, the ones who hope from the ones who build. They won't tell you that behind every jaw-dropping rise, every overnight success that took 10 gritty years, every name in lights, is someone who was once called too obsessed. Because when you choose to obsess, with intention, with clarity, with the fire of purpose, you stop living on default and start living on design. Your days are no longer random, your thoughts no longer scattered. You become a magnet. And without even noticing, you begin to attract what once felt impossible. Ideas begin to chase you, mentors begin to notice you, and doors you never even knocked on begin to open. And the strangest part? People will start calling you lucky, not knowing your luck is just obsession in disguise. You become the person who studies while others scroll, who builds while others sleep, who listens while others complain. Suddenly, the small habits compound, the hours turn into mastery, the failures into fuel, and the rejections into redirection. And then something shocking happens, you no longer crave money, because money starts craving you. You no longer need to chase the spotlight, because your light becomes too strong to ignore. But here's the twist, the obsession doesn't drain you, it fills you. It doesn't cage you, it frees you. It doesn't make you lose yourself, it helps you meet the version of you that you were born to be, the one with fire in their belly and steel in their spine, the one who refuses to shrink just because the world is afraid of too much shine. So if you've ever been told you're too intense, too focused, too driven, thank them silently and keep going. Because obsession isn't a flaw, it's the superpower they're too scared to use. It's the raw pulse of future empires and quiet revolutions. It's the beginning of your becoming. Obsess like your future depends on it, because it does. Obsess until the world mirrors your fire, until the universe has no choice but to respond, until your bank account, your freedom, your impact all scream the truth they once doubted. You were never crazy, you were just early. Positive affirmations are essential because they help rewire the subconscious mind, replacing limiting beliefs with empowering thoughts, and shifting the way you think, feel, and act. When practiced consistently, affirmations train your focus toward your goals, directing your attention to possibilities and solutions rather than fear and doubt. They build emotional resilience by countering negative self-talk, reduce anxiety, and create a sense of control even in difficult moments. Affirmations align your identity with the habits you want to build. When you say I'm disciplined with money, you begin acting in ways that support that belief. They also activate the brain's reticular activating system, which starts filtering the world around you to highlight opportunities, resources, and connections that match your affirmations. While affirmations don't magically change your life, they help you become the person who notices, attracts, and acts on everything that does. Practice these positive affirmations daily and it is sure to change your outlook. I am worthy of unlimited wealth and success, and money flows to me easily, effortlessly, and abundantly. I attract opportunities that create lasting financial freedom. Every single day, I grow richer in knowledge, skill, and income, while staying disciplined, focused, and committed to my financial goals. I make smart decisions that build my wealth steadily and surely, and I release all fear and doubt about money, embracing abundance with full confidence. My mind is a powerful magnet for prosperity and success, and I own my financial power, using it to create the life I truly desire. I am deeply grateful for the wealth I have, and thrilled for the wealth that is on its way. I naturally attract mentors, resources, and ideas that guide me toward greater riches, and I remain patient and persistent, knowing that my empire is growing every day. I spend wisely, invest intelligently, and save consistently, because I deserve a life of abundance, comfort, and joy. Wealth is my natural state, and I boldly claim it now. When the 1% speak, it's not just about talking, they're casting spells with their words. Every sentence is charged with intention, every phrase a blueprint for their future. They don't utter doubts or fears, instead, they speak a language drenched in confidence, clarity, and unshakable belief that success is their birthright. They don't say, maybe I'll get lucky. No. They declare, I create opportunities. Because they understand that waiting for chance is for the average. The 1% are architects of their own fate, shaping reality with the sheer force of their conviction. When life throws a curveball, they don't crumble. Instead, they whisper, every setback is a setup for a comeback. Failure isn't a dead end, it's fuel, a fire that powers their relentless climb higher and higher. They invest in the most powerful asset they own, themselves. Whether it's knowledge, skills, or mindset, they pour time and energy without hesitation because they know that true wealth begins inside the mind. Their language is soaked in abundance. They say, abundance is my natural state. This isn't arrogance, it's deep, magnetic belief. It's a vibration that pulls wealth, opportunity, and success into their orbit like a magnet. Time is sacred to them. They speak of it as their most valuable currency because every second wasted is a lost chance to build, grow, and win. They don't chase quick thrills, they play the long game, knowing that empires aren't built overnight, they're forged through discipline, patience, and unwavering vision. They surround themselves with winners, not because they want to impress, but because they know the people around you shape who you become. They cultivate relationships that elevate, challenge, and inspire. So when you want to speak the language of the 1%, it's not just about what you say, it's about how you feel when you say it. Replace doubt with certainty. Let curiosity crush fear. Swap waiting for bold, relentless action. And trade scarcity for the limitless expanse of abundance. Say it loud, say it proud. I am building my legacy. I am worthy of wealth. I am unstoppable. Because when your words carry that power, the world listens, and more importantly, you start living that reality every single day. The 1% don't sit around waiting for luck to knock on their door. Luck is a stranger to them, not a friend. Instead, they create their own luck by sharpening their minds, honing their skills, and staying relentlessly alert to every opportunity that others overlook. When chance appears, even disguised as challenge or failure, they see the hidden door to success. They don't rely on fortune, they rely on preparedness meeting opportunity. They understand that opportunities aren't handed out like candy, they're earned through vision, hard work, and swift action. The 1% have a radar finely tuned to recognize potential where others see risk or doubt. Their mindset is clear. Luck favors the bold and the ready. So, instead of wishing for good breaks, they build the foundation for them. They position themselves where opportunity flows, and when it arrives, they grab it fiercely, turning moments into momentum, and momentum into lasting empires. For them, success isn't about chance, it's about choice, courage, and unstoppable commitment. Join others learning to grow their money. Don't miss what's next. Kindly subscribe and like. The 1% don't believe in fate, they make their own. Fate, to them, isn't some distant force scripting their story behind the scenes. It's not a fixed path they're forced to follow. Fate is what they forge with every bold decision, every deliberate action, every relentless step forward. The 1% are the architects of their destiny. They don't wait for life to happen, they make life happen. They're not passengers, they're the drivers, steering with intention toward the future they design. No excuses. No if-onlys. Just pure, unstoppable will. Because when the 1% own their fate, they own their power. And when they own their power, nothing can stop them. Build income that works while you don't, because waking up to money flowing in, without lifting a finger that morning, isn't a fantasy, it's a decision. It's not about chasing every dollar or burning yourself out in a grind you hate. It's about stepping into the mindset of the 1%, the ones who see beyond trading time for money, the ones who build systems so strong they work even while they sleep. They don't hustle endlessly, they plan strategically. They design investments that whisper wealth in the background, quietly, patiently, relentlessly. Rental properties pay them month after month, without them showing up. Stocks and funds grow while they live their lives. Online businesses run 24/7, reaching the world while they're having dinner with their family or flying across the ocean. Courses, digital products, royalties, dividends, all seeds they planted that now grow without begging for their time. This isn't some magic trick. It's commitment. It's vision. It's building the foundation others are too distracted to lay. Because when your income depends on you alone, your time becomes a prison. But when your income depends on assets, systems, and scale, your time becomes your own again. That's freedom. That's wealth with meaning. So build it. Build what keeps paying you long after the work is done. Build what frees your hours, your energy, your soul. Because if your money isn't working while you rest, you'll never truly rest. And without freedom, wealth is just a cold, lifeless number. So let's conclude by saying that the 99% transform into the 1% mindset by first understanding that change begins within. By shifting their beliefs about money and success, by choosing to surround themselves with people who inspire growth, and by committing to long-term goals instead of chasing quick fixes. They must embrace discipline, patience, and the willingness to learn from failures. Seeing each setback as a lesson, not a defeat. They need to focus on building assets, not liabilities. Investing time and money into things that create lasting value. They must develop habits that prioritize saving, smart spending, and continuous self-improvement. The path to the 1% mindset is not easy, but it is available to anyone bold enough to take full ownership of their destiny. Because when the 99% decide to think like the 1%, speak like the 1%, and act like the 1%, their lives begin to shift, their opportunities multiply, and their future transforms into a living reflection of their relentless determination to rise, to lead, and to build a life of true wealth, freedom, and purpose. At Dissect Trades, we turn strategy into results. If building wealth is your goal, stick around and subscribe, there's a lot ahead.